today, works for the Claremont Institute and professor at Boise State. We're truly grateful you took the time to come to this event. We're truly grateful for that. So now let me welcome to the stage Professor Scott Yenor, Boise State.
I hope you guys know that I'm doing magic tricks and some yoga. Well, our topic today is the challenge that feminism poses to a strong, healthy country. And it's based on a certain kind of logical circle, which is that strong countries depend on strong families, and strong families cannot be built upon the principles of modern feminism. Now, I want to talk first about what the principles of modern feminism are, to avoid all confusion. The principles of modern feminism I take from their own writings to be three. One, that the differences between men and women are traceable to socialization. That is, that deep down inside, there are no differences between men and women. Therefore, we need to rearrange society's institutions in order to bring out the truth that there are no differences between men and women. That's principle number one. We'll call it the end of socialization, or patriarchal socialization, as they call it. The second, and I think just as difficult to reconcile with a strong country and strong families, is that it is good to be independent from one another. That is, for men to be independent of women, and for women to be independent of men. And therefore, that society... This is a big problem. Because if independence between men and women is the goal of society, then feminism is inherently hostile to marriage. Because marriage is about the dependence of a man and a woman on one another. So you cannot reconcile the goal of independence with the goal, with the institution that is built on mutual dependence. So feminism poses problems for the family because of its emphasis on the second thing, on independence. And the third principle of modern feminism is what they would call the end of all sexual taboos. That is, the goal is to free sex from the institution of marriage entirely. This doesn't mean simply the ending of prohibitions or cultural prohibitions on premarital sex, but it also means an embrace of the homosexual agenda. Feminists explicitly call for prohibitions on incest to be removed. All right. Pedophilia. These are principles, the policies, and cultural prohibitions that feminists say that we should get rid of. So these are the three pillars of feminism: the end of patriarchal socialization, the achievement of independence for both men and women from one another, and the end of all sexual taboos. Now, I think all of them pretty obviously point to the difficulty of maintaining families in the face of feminism. That is, as I said before, families are based kind of on sexual exclusivity between men and women, and feminists oppose that. Families are based on the idea of mutual dependence, not only of the man and the woman on one another, but of children on their parents. Feminists oppose that. And marriage is based on the idea that men and women are different. And certainly they bring different things to the table when it comes to producing children. Feminists oppose that. So in its nature, when you achieve those three principles, feminism is hostile to the family. I want to say like another thing about feminism that is maybe apart from the family, is that feminism is a great cause for commiserating women. All right, this is a famous line from my NACCON speech where I said that according to modern feminism, women are more medicated, meddlesome, and quarrelsome than they used to be. And they're very good scientific, and I think we should based on free speech and civil discord with people who reject those principles.
Hey, we want a picture after this!
And as I say, I think we just witnessed a classic example. There was a great study done by some economists in the early 2011s when you guys were still in diapers, am I right on that? And it was called the paradox of female happiness. And the paradox that they discovered was this, that as countries advance, that is, as the principles of feminism and modernity advanced within a country's culture, women became less happy. This was discovered in several ways. They compared public opinion polls before feminism with those after feminism. And they compared public opinion polls between, I would say, like third world countries, as we used to say, or the developing world now, and modern countries. And in all instances, they found that women were generally happier when they weren't pushed to independence from marriage and family life. Now, of course, there's flip sides to all of this stuff, but the lesson that I take from this is kind of a biblical lesson. That it's not good for men or women to be alone. And that much in our culture emphasizes that people should have careers should be first, and there's very little preparation or elevation of marriage to be something important, maybe even of first importance in someone's life. Think of how much advice you've gotten over the course of your career as students. A lot of it is about preparing you to get into the career track. And this is true for both men and women. There's and parents are complicit in this, I think. That the number one thing that parents emphasize is that you have a good job and that you're able to kind of stand on your own feet as an adult. Very few things in our culture actually prepare people for marriage, younger marriage, and having children. And the reason for that is, I think, at least in large part, because feminism is such a central commitment in our education of all children, in our culture. So that we're afraid to emphasize the importance of marriage in a happy life. And so, it's not only in what we do that feminism shows its importance, but also in what we leave undone. That is, the things we refuse to acknowledge or support in our culture are really traceable to feminism. So, one could go on all day and talk about various studies. Let me just give you one more. You guys are not quite in this age group, but there was a great study out by the Pew Research Group that said, this is going to surprise you, I think, but 45% of females who identify as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed, according to them, with a mental disorder. That we have unhappy, anxious, depressed people who are going to die alone, and who want to die alone. So, I think just a piece of advice that I'm going to offer to all of you, perhaps young conservatives, is not that you abandon ideas about getting jobs or succeeding well in school or getting into good schools. I'm not saying you should abandon those things. But you need to, I think, to lead a well-balanced life. You need to take those ambitions and balance them with, forming a deep community with someone that will be enduring, that will last, and finding people for that is getting easier and easier by the day. Like, I think a lot of people who've walked out might be people you don't want to date.
Yes! Yes, Rock!
And I might counsel against marriage. But a great country, I think, really is going to depend on people who elevate, not as the only concern, but as the chief concern for their happiness, that they elevate establishing deep, communal, fruitful relations with people of the opposite sex. And I encourage you, as you kind of go through the rest of your high school career and proceed to whatever's next for you, to keep that much more in the front of your mind than you're probably encouraged to keep it by the culture that we live in. Right? Keep it closer to the front of your mind. Males, I would suggest that the thing you should emphasize in your preparation for life is accomplishment. Accomplish things. Serve something greater than yourself. Right? In other words, make yourself attractive. But don't do it for the purpose of making yourself attractive. Do it for the purpose of self-respect. Be elite. And for the ladies among us, I would say that you should not give up on any ambitions that you have to work, to have fulfilling work over the course of your life. But if that is all you pursue, you'll be older than you think before the issue of marriage comes up. And at some point, getting married and having children becomes harder to do. But if there was one fact that I would like people to know, is that their most fruitful times of life are much earlier than they think. That is, having children is actually much easier, and you have more energy and you're better at it when you're 24 than when you're 34. And right now, the average age for marriage in America is creeping over 30 years old for men, and it's about 29 for women, but it ends up being a problem for establishing relations. So that's my advice. I thank you guys all for coming out. I have a copy of my first book,
We love Scott! 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 Fuck the woman! How about the Hey, Jack,